Okay, guys, this is going to be my review of the classic spaghetti western film, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I think the kind of the funny thing with this film is that I didn't really know that this was part of a trilogy. The Man with No Name trilogy part, and this was actually the final film in that. Yet it's the first film in that trilogy or set of films that I watched. But I watched it and I really did enjoy it. I really thought it was a very solid, great film. Very much my first real forte into to westerns really overall. That was kind of like a big genre that I haven't really seen many films of, and so seeing this film, I was like, because you hear all this stuff about all the iconic lines and the iconic shots and the iconic scenes from these films with Clint Eastwood, these westerns with Clint Eastwood, and this film didn't disappoint. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I think there were so many great lines and the idea, the concept of having three different people, the good, the bad, the ugly, all um, looking for money and how their paths intertwine, and kind of going on that adventure part of it as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed the that Civil War backdrop. There's some great gunplay in this film. Great explosions, practical effects, practical stunts, great sets, great locations, and great story that you know it's kind of a blessing and a curse in some ways, the runtime of this film, because I think it being 2 hours 50 minutes really gives you a lot of time to learn about the characters, really fully see the scope and the scale and the time that the event that this adventure took. But why I think it in some cases can be a curse is that I do think there's a lot of dragged out scenes. I do think there's a lot of scenes that, yeah, you can cut that scene out and it wouldn't change the film. I'm not saying that with a lot of scenes. It's just in my general observation where it's like there's tons of great stuff, and I love overall the runtime of it being so long because we really get to have so many great details, so many great scenes that adds to that western, and adds to those characters, and adds to those mission and the adventure that they go on. But yet, there is scenes that I do think could easily be plucked out, or at least it felt like some shots and some scenes lingered. Like the final shot of the Man with No Name riding into the sunset or whatever in the fields took was like 10, like a whole minute of him just in a wide shot of just them, and there's like some shots, the establishing shots that take so long. I don't know, but I think when you have shots or scenes that dive into the characters, it still is really great, very great, because it gives you more about the characters and doesn't make them just one dimensional. And that includes the scene where Tuco is with his brother. Like that scene, while it didn't add to the overall story, it added to their relationship, or our understanding of Tuco. But what was I gonna say? Damn, I was gonna say something. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I was surprised about how minimal of a role. No, when I mean minimal, I mean like you see what I mean. But how, not minimal, but how this the length of Clint Eastwood's role. You know what I mean? Because what's weird is they really seem to be following the ugly in this film, and I think the thing is with me and the Man with No Name, Clint Eastwood's character. I think there is this level of disconnect with him, because I think but that's kind of what they were going for. You know what I mean? Doesn't really talk. We don't know anything about him. He's very skillful. He, is very commanding, but we don't know much about him. And we don't know a lot of things about him. You know what I mean? And so it was just very it was just you know that sense of knowledge, the sense of strength and power. But yet again, because there's always that level of disconnect. You never really follow this film through his eyes. You know what I mean? I feel like it's usually Tuco's eyes. You know this, and we see it through everybody else. You know, we don't see the man with the no name's perspective. We see it rather the opposite. We see everybody else's perspective on him, and I think I love that he calls him Blondie, and there's great moments of there's either two kinds of people in this world. You know, those with loaded guns and those that dig. You dig. Say great quotes, great gunplay, great story, great mission, great backdrop of World War Three or Civil War. I should say World War Nothing, Civil War. And so I really enjoyed this film. I think it was really good, even though you could cut out some scenes and really great introduction to the Western genre. Stay tuned for our videos coming at you.